collage, I am going to get started by having my sheet of paper that was once white, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I toned it and why I toned it, and then some of the images that I have collected so far for my collage. Now, the next thing, before I even get started on this, I just kind of want to show everyone why we are using our collage, why we have this rubric. So I do have a rubric right here. This rubric does say that, in order to get a good grade on something, I should have, some creative method of designing a collage, either using various materials, meaning more than one material, and that the colors are distributed and it is neat and appealing, and that's for like high marks on creativity. For composition, that the picture, the pictures that I choose, even if they're drawn or cut from a magazine, that they are organized, they're balanced, they include different types of pictures, words, if I want words, drawings required for this assignment. And then lastly, the criteria here states that the collage contains at least 6 or more photos or drawings, all related and focused to the theme selected. And for the majority of us, we're going to continue with our theme of, kind of like a self-portrait or things that interest us. So I'm going to come back to some of the stuff that I chose, going through some magazines and from like a little personal calendar and like a little sticker. This little sticker says, trust your intuition, which I kind of like that idea. It's like a sticker I got from like a company for like advertising like earrings, of all things. From my personal calendar, one of my personal calendars here at home, I have like the Good Advice cupcake. And it's always like these really cute little drawings of, this character called the Good Advice Cupcake. And I cut this one out from the little calendar, the tearaway calendar I have, because I thought it was like, kind of cute and looks like they have anxiety or stress. And as a teacher, I feel that. Here's another little sticker I came across that says Wicked, which is a skateboard company that or a skating company that I like to support and buy my roller skates from. So that's a sticker from Wicked. All right, so from one of the magazines that I had, I found some really great food items. One of my favorite foods is the artichoke. So I cut it out and I was like, you know what, I'm totally going to try to incorporate these artichoke like dish or this little artichoke thing into my collage. I also found some beautiful lavender and other violet colored flowers and some greenery. So one of my favorite things that I added in my think sheet for my collage and my brainstorm was I really love gardening, 1, and 2, one of my favorite colors is violet. So these different shades of violet kind of showcase 2 things, gardening and some of my favorite colors. And then I found this awesome little image in a magazine of like a woman at a protest and her hat is up. And this might be a little bit more centered towards like BLM, but also just like all the protests and civil rights movements that have been happening the year of 2020 and now currently into 2021. So I really like this image since I'm a union activist and, an educator and a women's rights advocate. So I thought, yes, I can totally include this as something that I relate to and something that I respect and want to include into my collage. Now, initially, like I mentioned earlier, my paper was white. It was. And I grabbed my sheet of paper from our classroom set of our drawing pads, right? So it is a 9x12 sheet of, basic white paper. I yanked it out. And I happen to have some of these like watercolor pencils. This one happens to be something called Ink Tense, which means instead of like watercolor, it has an ink in it. And I'm using this pencil to tone the background of my paper. Why? I don't like seeing white paper. To me, it's just kind of boring. So I wanted to include a color, like a neutral color, nothing too crazy, into the background so that I would have, you know, some kind of baseline of color here. So once I kind of like colored it and then I smeared all that color around, there's really no white spots left. And I can color more on top of this. It's just a base layer. Now that I have my base layer, well, I get to start to decide how I'm going to incorporate my different images into here. One thing for sure is whatever's more important should be placed on top, and whatever's less important can be placed towards the background. Also, I want to think about the balance. Like, do I want this on this side? Do I want this on this side? I kind of like her on this side, but then it's kind of like this weird cutoff right here. But I might be able to do something, you know, with that. Like, you know, either like butt this up against it. That kind of like covers that whole front area. I can maybe pop this into the background and like it only shows a little bit. Or I can flip them. Maybe it makes more sense. And this is a portrait, right? Like, not portrait, landscape. I can also decide that I want to see this, you know, in portrait view. And how would it look in portrait view instead? This might actually, you know, work better, but I don't know if the food needs to be there. So far I have 1, 2, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. I'm definitely going to draw onto this, and I definitely want to include a photograph of myself in here. I just need to locate a good photo that would make sense in this work of art as well. I can also decide then to, like, you know, so the first part is playing with the images that you collect. Maybe, I don't think I like this. I kind of feel like this needs to have more importance, so maybe I can bring this to the top and then start to layer, you know, the different things like this on the bottom. And then maybe this nice shape will, you know, kind of break that up. And then my little artichoke. Maybe I can add my cute little cupcake down here. I kind of like this layout more than having it landscape. Trust your intuition. I could always, you know, like decide like where I want to place this. Maybe I place it down here also. So it's on the bottom. For Wicked, I feel like, although I love this sticker and I haven't, it's yellow, it's hard to see, right? I haven't used it. I'm not sure if it'll make sense in here, so I may or may not use this. So right now I'm kind of liking the way this is kind of coming together. I might actually pop this on top of that and have it kind of overlap, because I kind of like how it talks about, like, it says, you know, the fuzzy choke, the heart, the edible stem, the inner leaves. So it's kind of giving me like a rundown of what an artichoke is. I feel like a lot of people don't always know what an artichoke is or how to eat an artichoke. And it's literally one of my favorite foods. Maybe because, you know, I'm from California, was born up in like a Central Coast area, and artichokes are from a little town called Castroville, which is really nearby where I was born. So kind of have a little special place in my heart too. All right, so with this, I think I'm gonna actually, you know, take a mental picture or take a photograph with my phone so I know how I want things placed, and then begin the process of carefully gluing everything down with a glue stick, okay? And like really making sure there is like a ton of glue on the back so that it sticks nice and flat to my paper.